Hello, everybody. Thank you for clicking on. This is the American Doofus channel, and this is Late Night America. 12:01 a.m., officially the 20th day of October 2022, 12:01 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And we thank all of you again for clicking on. A lot to talk about. Last episode, Chris was with us, and I always learn a lot in our conversations. And the next time Chris is going to be with us, we will make sure it's live so that those of you watching can ask questions of Chris or anything like that. All right. Hello, U.S. Veterans Chat. Hello, Proud Army Girlfriend. Hello, hello, hello to everybody out there watching. Um, Again, you know, Chris kind of laid out some of his credentials. There are other things he's been a part of that he didn't touch on, and basically has been all over the world. Has an international company now that deals with uh, deals with the elite. To be honest with you, and an incredible source of knowledge and information, and we text back and forth a lot about here's what I'm hearing, here's what I'm hearing, kind of things, and he does that with a lot of people, and I do that with a lot of people. So um, it's always great to have him on, and I hope people enjoy that because we will have him back on. I mean, we're gonna have him back on, and again, we'll do it live. We'll set it up at a time when he doesn't have to be up early the next morning and can sleep in. We'll have him on at the very beginning of the show um, so that we can make sure he gets off as soon as possible and gets to bed. So, with all that being said, again, thank you all for being here. Um, Hello, Leva. Hello, Joy. Hi, Lori Arnold, Sassy Pants, GA from CA, Hellraiser. From This I Know, Barefoot Wild. Tanya Anderson, hello. Easily Distracted, hi. Um, I want to share something to start things off here. Um, Here we go. Okay, U.S. Veterans Chat is in the room, in the house, in the chat, however you want to say it. And this is a page that is just getting started, and it's a place for veterans where all veterans can have a voice and a place to talk. It's a place for veterans, by veterans, about veterans, and we're gonna talk about it in a little more detail because it's just getting started. But um, at the end of things, we will be bringing that back up. Okay. Um, at the very top of the chat, I put no threats, no hateful insults or comments. Okay. Um, this is not a chat that is in any way anything close to an echo chamber. It's a chat where there are a lot of different opinions from different people, and we want to keep it that way. It can't be vile. It can't be hateful. Um, it can't be such that that I just disable chat or that I make chat. Um, you got to buy a membership in order to chat or put chat on slow mo. I don't want to do any of that. Um, what I want, honestly, what I want to empower everybody in the chat because you have power. It's your chat. Okay, it's my channel, but it's your chat. I see comments Doofus's chat's out of hand. Well, I'm doing a show, and I'm not. The chat is people sometimes watching the screen, sometimes engaged heavily in a chat back and forth with each other. I don't want to take away from either one of those. I want to empower and encourage all of you to not be a victim in any chat, to realize the power you have to block anybody you want or everybody if you want. You can disable the chat and not have to deal with it. But if there are just one or two people that are causing concern, then you as an individual, I encourage you to use your power and just block them. Just block them. Now, if it gets so bad, there are times that it gets so bad that I've got to do it. All right. I would rather you not allow me to judge who should be here and who shouldn't, that you judge for yourself. You don't think this person should be in chat, block them. And you're still here, and 99% of the other people that you want to talk to are still here. I'm encouraging you to do that. I am going to try to keep a closer eye on the chat, and if necessary, you've already seen it. If necessary, I will do something. It's not against freedom of speech. You have the freedom of speech. It doesn't mean there aren't consequences to it. All right? So, no threats, no hateful insults or comments. Respect everybody. Just respect each other. And if you disagree, don't get hateful. Chat like your mom's watching, okay? Or your grandma, or whoever it may be. Chat like if you're going to chat like a little kid, keep in mind as a little kid that every once in a while, mom or grandma or somebody comes out with one of them orange Hot Wheels racetrack, and they're going to welt you up. They're going to be welts on you one side up and down the other. Don't chat like that. Chat like you could take a whooping from your mom or your grandma, because you're disrespecting people. Because we're adults. We're better than this. We're all better than this. We really are. I believe that. And I believe that some people decide that they're going to be the troublemakers or whatever, and it's a tact that they take because they're not dumb at all, and it's just a way of getting attention. So if you don't want somebody to have your attention, simply block them. Okay, that's the I haven't even started the show yet. Again, thank you all for watching. I've probably had tons of people leave after that little soapbox incident there, but nonetheless, I love the fact that people engage in the chat, and I want that to continue. So let's try to make sure that happens, everybody. All right. With that being said, normally we start with the breaking news that's going on in the mainstream media, or we start with a promo of what's coming in the upcoming shows, and I'm just going to tell you that. Okay, hold on a second. I can't do that. All right. Tomorrow night's show is going to be a little bit different. All right. I'm not going to have guests on. I don't think. I might have a surprise guest or two on, but tomorrow night's show, we are going to look back at least 20 of the funniest funniest things to come out of all of the 1776 and opposition fiasco. And we're going to start tonight with the latest one. This is from Reenactment with Dolls. It's called 1776 RM Members, Jalen and Matt, Christmas Decorations.
Oreo, you're so funny. Oh, there's so many trolls.
Jody, do you think you can stop watching for a minute and help me put up the Christmas decorations?
Not now, Matt. I don't want to miss anything. Oh my gosh, what the heck?
Help!
Oh my gosh, Oreo, sorry. I'll be right back. Matt probably just lost his wallet again. Oh my gosh, that joke never gets old, even though I've told it 100 times.
It's about time, Jody. Can you help me get down from here?
Okay, but let me go get my phone. I gotta show this to Oreo.
Again, tomorrow night is going to be devoted to comedy, to the comedy that has come from this thing called the 1776 Restoration Movement and opposition. And I was thinking about comedy, and one of the things I had played, I played this 2 years ago. Came into my, not that funny. I said comedy. Comedy's not always that funny. There are some funny people out there. And yeah, that's not going to be on tomorrow night. Supreme Apocalypse Warlord. There is a lot of comedy. And while I was thinking about, okay, what cuts am I going to use tomorrow night? Something came up into my head from 2 years ago, actually. And most of you may have already heard of him. But for those that have not, this is Trey Crowder, the liberal redneck.
Hey y'all, I just wanted to comment on a rumor that's spreading like wildfire across small town America right now, and that's that Antifa is deploying busloads of liberal provocateurs from all the big cities on the coast to infiltrate rural America and wreak havoc. And I just felt as somebody who's kind of done the exact opposite of that, I was in a position to comment on it. First of all, rural America, Antifa's not real, not really. It's just the latest in the long line of fictional boogeyman Yuns create whole cloth out of thin air to help yourselves maintain the vital balance of fear and anger upon which you thrive. They're just like the transgender toilet monsters or the big government rifle snatchers of years past. They're not really a thing. But let's just say that when you say Antifa, you mean like big city, coastal liberals. They're coming to your town to fuck with y'all. Let me tell you something, rural America. Coastal liberals wouldn't come to where you live if the ghost of Karl Marx offered to pay them in aborted fetuses, okay? They're not coming there for nothing. Ever. Ever. What are they going to do there? What, they come there to loot? What are they going to loot? The co-op? The Blizzard machine at the Dairy Queen? Those aren't vegan friendly. What would they want with them? They're going to riot? How are they going to maintain the strength to riot when they all survive off of wheatgrass and pretension? Huh? They coming to spread their message to y'all? They don't know how to talk to y'all. Why do you think I have a career? It ain't the jokes. And how are they going to get there? Buses, right? Big fleet of liberal buses. How you think they've got the time and resources to find that many fully electric buses and paint them rainbow colors? Come on. Nothing about it makes any fucking sense at all. Here's my point. You cannot keep talking out of both sides of your mouth where coastal liberals are concerned. You cannot, on the one hand, act like we are all a bunch of spineless, ineffectual, overly sensitive soy boys, and at the same time, we are somehow a cabal of special forces shadow queers. It don't make any sense, to say nothing of how it makes y'all look when you buy into bullshit like this. Don't you know what it makes you look like when you share these rumors around? It makes it look like you're scared, like you're afraid of coastal liberals coming to your town. And I know that can't be it, right? You would never admit that you're afraid of liberals. Imagine your papaw shaking his head at you in disappointment from the bowels of hell. No, that can't be it, because you ain't worried about it, right? If they do show up, you'll take care of it, right? You whoop everybody's ass, shoot everybody's dog. You're big, tough, and dumb, and you got guns. Let the liberals show up. See what happens, right? You'll take care of it. Nothing to worry about, right? Okay, then shut the fuck up about it. Jesus.
Most Americans don't know this, but the government...
Oh, that's Trey Crowder for those that don't know. The liberal redneck on YouTube. And again, we got to have a sense of humor about things. Okay, thank you, easily distracted. Again, if you're going to insult each other, okay, we're grown adults. Just don't be hateful, and no threats. All right, don't threaten anybody with anything. All right. Patricia, the theme song for this program is I don't know why I came here tonight. I got a feeling that something ain't right. I'm so scared in case I fall off my chair, and I'm wondering how I'll get down the stairs. I got clowns to the left of me and jokers to the right. Here I am. So, a lot of us are here, stuck in the middle. Mama told me not to come. 3 Dog Night. Hi, BTM Sparky. Hi, Max Flower. Hi, Long Beard. Hi, Max Smith. Hi, me to you. GA from CA. Hello. Hello, One She-Hawk. Good evening. Jules. Yeah, we used to do that song. I didn't sing the song. I played the bass on it, and I sang the background. My part was just the stuck in the middle. Anyway, so let's get to starting the show. Let's go to our breaking news in mainstream media, and I'll check in and out with the chat. New York Times says Russia-Ukraine war news. They've got live updates. CNBC, Supreme Court asked to block Biden's student debt relief program. The Supreme Court has been asked to block. Axios' headline is, here are the federal income tax brackets for the year 2023. Click on Axios if you're curious about that. Washington Post, Trump signed legal documents that he knew included false voter information. The NPR, Hurricane Ian, the gift that keeps on giving, increased flesh-eating bacteria infections among Florida residents. Nothing about that sounds good. And CNN, Biden tries to tackle his gas price problem by announcing a sale of 15 million barrels from the strategic reserve. We'll touch on a little bit more of that coming up here in just a moment. In the meantime, we're going to hop over to a story that is not being talked about. Black woman escaped after being held against her will by a white man in Missouri. Again, this is today, October 19. And this is weeks after residents of a Kansas City, Missouri neighborhood said they complained to police that black women were missing. Authorities are facing community backlash after a black woman says a white man held her captive. 22-year-old woman identified by police in court in the probable cause form as TJ escaped October 7th from the Excelsior Springs, Missouri home of Timothy Marion Haslett Jr., a man who she accuses of kidnapping and raping her after he picked her up in Kansas City in early September. Excelsior Springs is a part of the Kansas City metropolitan area. Quote, it was readily apparent she had been held against her will for a significant period of time, end quote. That's Lieutenant Ryan Dowdy of the Excelsior Springs Police, who told reporters outside Haslett's home. He said investigators are still processing evidence taken from Haslett's home, and the investigation is ongoing. According to the probable cause form, TJ said she escaped from a room in the man's basement. Haslett's neighbors told KMBC and KCTV that TJ went to multiple homes trying to seek help, and this happened when Haslett took his child to school. TJ also said there were other women, but police found no evidence of others so far. The woman's escape comes weeks after community leaders said they told authorities that they believed a potential predator was targeting black women in the Kansas City area. Authorities from the Kansas City Police Department initially called the reports of a serial killer targeting black women as completely unfounded. TJ was wearing latex lingerie, a metal collar with a padlock, had duct tape around her neck when she escaped, according to the probable cause form. We are going to have BTM Sparky on here. We're going to have Summer Dickerson on here very soon, the two of them, and we're going to be talking about how this is not how this happens quite often, and it's not always in the news, and it doesn't always get talked about, and it doesn't get talked about enough. So we're going to be doing that. Hold on a second. I just clicked back over here to the chat channel. 79% of all trafficking is sex related, 20% of it being children. Do you believe legalizing prostitution would help us eradicate the child end? I don't know, Sparky. That's a great question. I don't know. I would like to find somebody that is a psychologist, certified in criminal behavior, and have a talk with them about the difference between having between pedophilia and alternative sexual activities. Okay, but that's a good question, and again, we're gonna have BTM Sparky and Summer come on at some point. We'll have both of them on. We might even have some other people join us if people reach out and want to at that point. Okay, so that being said, not only did we have Chris on, we also talked about the fact that China and India, I mentioned it either during the interview with Chris or in one of the stories, China and India have ordered their people, or strongly recommended their people to leave Eastern Europe, and somebody said, you're fear mongering, you're just making that up. So I wanted to pop this up here tonight, and it's good to question. It's all right. I'm I'm not devaluing the question at all, because I did not put up a receipt of, of proof of what I was saying. But here it is. Evacuate now. China tells citizens to leave Ukraine amid nuclear fears. And then we will get to the receipts for for India as well. Let me get over here. Sorry about this. There we go. India once again asked its citizens to leave Ukraine immediately. This was 6 hours ago. This is from the Embassy of India in Ukraine. 6 hours ago, air raid sirens were going off in Kyiv. And Biden's energy secretary tells CNN that releasing millions of barrels of fuel from the strategic reserve is necessary because the country is on a wartime footing. That's kind of news. I didn't realize we were on a wartime footing. I guess we are financing a war. But as far as a wartime footing, maybe they're not telling us everything. Shock. Last April, FBI raided the home of ABC journalist James Gordon Meek, who was finishing up a book about Biden's withdrawal from Afghanistan. He's been charged with no crime. He abruptly resigned from his job with ABC, and nobody has seen him since. He's back in the news because the FBI went back into the apartment today. Let me get down here. Poland warned Iran about arms supplies to Russia. We've been talking about the Iranian drones, and Iran does have people on the ground there teaching the Russians how to fly the drones. At the moment, the Iranians are flying the drones, and that's significant. As cyber threats evolve, this is from Homeland Security, cyber threats evolve, we're committed to strengthening the cybersecurity of the U.S. transportation sector. TSA's new security directive modernizes cybersecurity regulations that will help ensure preparedness and resilience for the nation's rail system. The truckers, the rail system, and the barges and the waterways. We depend so much on all of them for everything, and each one is at risk for potential cyber attacks as well. Now, if you're new to the show, you're just watching the show. It was probably, well, I don't remember. It was the end of August. It was between the end of August and the middle of September, 1st of September, I think, that we got the warning about the EMPs, the electromagnetic pulses, the possibility of those, and how federal government was preparing for those. And I told everybody, if the federal government's preparing for them, we should probably be aware. And we looked at several things, including the potential of Russian weapons and Chinese weapons. Anyway, TSA's put new requirements out for passenger and freight rail. Iran plans to sell more drones and also missiles to Russia. So Iran has pledged to provide Russia with surface-to-surface missiles, more drones, citing two senior Iranian officials. Now, remember, Iran also has a major uprising going on within its own borders. amongst the youth in Iran. And for those that missed it, one more time, the scientific look at FAFO and how the more you FA, the more you FO, all the way up. It's a pretty consistent, pretty consistent graph. So again, thank you all for watching. Greatly appreciate you being here. There are a couple other things we want to. Let me get rid of that. A couple other things I want to mention real quick here, including this.
This was spotted over the Pacific. The jets were intercepted by American F-16s near Alaska. According to the Russian Defense Ministry, two of its Tu-95MS strategic bombers flew over the Pacific Ocean, the Bering Sea and the Sea of Okhotsk. Moscow says the nuclear-capable jets performed a planned flight in the airspace over the neutral waters. The flight duration was more than 12 hours. The Russian Defense Ministry has asserted all the flights carried out were in strict accordance with the international rules of the use of airspace.
Okay. Chris and I talked about this last night. What's Russia going to do? They're going to start doing drills. They're going to start having civilian drills, and they're going to start having military drills. So, U.S. fighter jets intercept two Russian nuclear-capable warplanes near Alaska. And again, that is today. Just something to think about. We don't tell you what to think or how to think, just give you things to think about. Now, we have come to a point in the program where we're going to do something really different. And I need some help with this. I need some researchers and I need some investigators. We're going to look at something that was mentioned in our last episode that we're going to talk about. People have heard a lot about Lake Mead and the West Coast and the water shortages in Lake Mead. And this has been going on for years. All right, it's just been getting worse and worse and worse. Not a lot of people in general pay attention to it that aren't impacted by it. But it has been going on and it continues to dry up. And as you can see, a day ago, a woman, there's still enough water in it for somebody to drown in it. So it hasn't completely dried up, but it's dried up to the point where more skeletal remains have been found and confirmed. So yesterday, or not yesterday, but in our last episode, we talked about what's going on with the Mississippi River. And is the Mississippi River drying up from drought? Drought hit Mississippi River reveals 19th century trading ship. Holy moly, drought hit Mississippi River reveals trading ship. Yesterday, or the last episode, we talked about how people are walking out to this tower that hasn't been accessible, or is Tower Rock, I believe is what it's called. That's out there, and it hasn't been, Tower Rock. Here's a quick look at that.
People are making the trip to a Missouri landmark to take advantage of how low the water levels are right now on the Mississippi River. News 3's Paul Wilcoxon has those details.
Every time I come down here, I find something different about it.
Tom Greither grew up close to Tower Rock. He's been a frequent visitor to the area for years.
I've been down here when it's this dry a couple times. I've actually been up to the top of it, and when my son was probably 10 or 12 years old, we went up there, and that's been quite a few years ago, and we just keep coming back. It's just a real neat place to come to.
Okay. So they're actually walking out there. to a point where they normally would have to, at minimum, wade and make a dangerous swim or boat trip normally. They're able to walk out to it. And just to give you just a little bit more perspective on that, let me pull this up. Just so you can see, this comes from Action 5 News. This is the Mississippi River at its lowest stage ever recorded in Memphis, Tennessee. And as you can see, the boats are basically, instead of in the marina, they are basically sitting on the mud. The lowest stage ever recorded. If you watched the other night, you know, I asked, what happened to the water? Where did all the water go? Now they're mentioning droughts. Droughts on the East Coast. Drought responsible for the Mississippi River drying up. July and August, floods just in July and August. Kentucky caused 44 deaths. All that water flows towards the Mississippi River. St. Louis on the Mississippi River. Virginia, Illinois, Mississippi. How are we having a drought with flooding in areas that lead directly into and are on the Mississippi? Where's the water going? What's happening? It may be nothing, but it sure seems odd that the media, we just played a clip where they said the drought caused the Mississippi, people were able to go to Tower Rock because of the drought. I hadn't heard anything about a drought on the Mississippi up until just a few days back. What happened to the water? Again, I'm going to be looking for some investigators. I'm going to be looking for some researchers. We need to look at companies that bottle water and where they're getting their bottled water. Are the rivers that flow into the Mississippi all approaching drought level? There's a lot of things we need to look into. So if you're interested in helping out and exploring this and seeing if there is a story here, email me, americandufus@gmail.com, and let me know what you want to do. Do you want to follow up? Do you want to check on rivers in your area? Are you interested in investigating the companies that bottle water? Are you interested in government conspiracies? Is the water being evaporated because the atmosphere is somehow heated or something we don't know about? Or more likely, possibly, is it being sucked out from underneath? Is a foreign country involved? There's a lot of things that could happen. And it could be nothing. It could indeed be a drought, but I don't know. Something to think about. And again, if you'd like to help out and be involved, email me, americandufus@gmail.com. All right. We are now at the point where I'm going to hop over to the chat for just a second and say hello to everybody and thank you all for watching. The Earth is not happy. That may be it, She-Hawk. Mr. Pratt, how are you? Red Squirrel. L. Smith, Max Smith, Freedom Ninja, Longbeard, Nova Big Star. Soon the pipeline to drain the Great Lakes will be made. Thank you, U.S. Veterans Chat. We're going to have you come up here in just a little bit. Okay, I'll tell you what. I don't like that. I don't like a lot of crappy people talking crap, and I really can't. Okay. There is a trucker shortage. Yes, it predated the pandemic, Max, you're right. Okay. Alrighty. Elon stole the water to power his ego. The lake I kayaked at all summer is really low right now. Okay, thank you, man, or madam, or sir. Okay, all right. We'll soldier through here, as they say, and we'll just change some things, unfortunately, coming up. Okay. We're going to be talking here in the next few minutes about Admiral Byrd, and we're going to be talking about Antarctica. Admiral Byrd discovered the South Pole. He also discovered some other things, and things we're going to get to. But just
oldest continent is also
just to give
one
you
of
an
the
idea.
most mysterious.
Sorry about whispering. Oh, okay.
Places on Earth. It's as unique as it is secretive. And unlike most destinations, you can't just hop off a commercial flight. Unless you're an elite scientist or an emperor penguin, exploring the Antarctic is forbidden. Even if you could, good luck overcoming frostbite-inducing temperatures of -130 degrees Fahrenheit or -90 degrees Celsius. But why is it restricted? And where do these rules come from? Grab your mittens and let's find out. Before the mid-1900s, we knew almost nothing about Antarctica. Then, an American Navy explorer by the name of Admiral Richard Byrd, Jr. changed everything. Oh, and before you go asking Santa for presents, the Antarctic is actually at the South Pole. Antarctica equals south, Arctic equals north. Comprende?
Okay, so this is the guy we're going to be talking about, Admiral Byrd, right here. And I just want to play a couple of things here to give you an idea, those that do not know, give you an idea who this guy was. So basically nothing was known about the area before he made his explorations. And we're going to play a few seconds of this as well. This is one of the last recordings of Admiral Byrd, and it's made on a coronoscope, which is the precursor of videotaping.
Of the Longines Whitnor Watch Company, maker of Longines, the world's most honored watch, and Whitnor, distinguished companion to the world-honored Longines. Good evening, this is Frank Knight. May I introduce our co-editors for this edition of the Longines Chronoscope? Larry Lasser, CBS News correspondent, and Kenneth Crawford, National Affairs Editor of Newsweek magazine. Our very distinguished guest for this evening is Admiral Richard E. Byrd.
The North Pole used to be a no-man's land, but these are the days when, by buying a ticket on a commercial airliner, you can fly across the North Pole and drink a cocktail at the same time. You know, only 70 or more years ago, about 35 years ago, our guest tonight found out whether there was any land north of the North American continent. He made that first discovery flight, and I must say that Admiral Byrd, our guest tonight, is not only our greatest living explorer, but he's been an inspiration to countless Americans. Admiral Byrd, you've been to both the North Pole and the South Pole. Is there any unexplored land left on this earth that might appeal to adventurous young Americans?
Yes, there is. And not up around the North Pole, because it's getting crowded up there now, because they find out it's really usable. not only to live in, but militarily. But strangely enough, there's left in the world today an area as big as the United States that's never been seen by a human being. And that's beyond the pole, on the other side of the South Pole, from Middle America.
Okay. Again, I'm showing this just to give you an idea who the man is. You heard them refer to him as America's greatest living adventurer. And what he's going to be telling us coming up has inspired Ancient Aliens, the History Channel, the Hollow Earth Theory. And I'm going to play just a couple of seconds of this.
2014. Scientists researching the Earth's mantle announce that they have found what they believe to be a vast body of water, 3 times the volume of all of our oceans combined, contained within a mineral layer 400 miles inside the Earth. The discovery shakes. You prepare for the...
Okay, that's all right. I didn't want to play any more of that anyway. I don't want to get a copyright strike from the History Channel. But see how everything's kind of tying together. There's a whole bunch of water supposedly underneath Earth. The Earth's possibly not the way science has told us. Again, we're just giving you things to think about, all right? I just found this incredibly interesting. I'll put it that way. And again, just to show you kind of how long this has been going on, this there was a secret operation. It was called Operation High Jump, and U.S. Navy Antarctic Expedition. And it was 1946 with Admiral Richard Byrd, as you can see down here on the title. And
This is Robert Montgomery speaking.
so they actually documented what happened, except for a couple of things that were left out of all that documentation. And those things are only available in a diary, the diary of Admiral Richard Byrd. So all of that leads up to where we're at right now. And we're going to spend a few minutes listening to a couple of excerpts from Admiral Byrd.
Admiral Richard Byrd was a highly regarded explorer, and in 1947 he headed the Operation High Jump down to Antarctica. And after he passed, his son found his diary and published it. And here is an excerpt from the diary itself. Flight log, Base Camp, Arctic, February 19th, 1947. 0600 hours. All preparations are complete for flight north, and we are airborne with full fuel tanks at 0610 hours. 0620 hours. Fuel mixture on starboard engine seems too rich. Adjustment made, and Pratt & Whitney's running smoothly. 0730 hours. Radio check with base camp. All is well, and radio reception is normal. 0740 hours. Note slight oil leak on starboard engine. Oil pressure indicator seems normal, however. 0800 hours. Slight turbulence noted from easterly direction at altitude of 2321 feet. Correction to 1700 feet. No further turbulence, but tailwind increases. Slight adjustment in throttle controls. Aircraft performing very well now. 0815 hours. Radio check with base camp. Situation normal. 0830 hours. Turbulence encountered again. Increased altitude to 2900 feet. Smooth flight conditions again. 0910 hours. Vast ice and snow below. Note coloration of yellowish nature and disperse in a linear pattern. Altering course for a better examination of this color pattern below. Note reddish or purple color also. Circle this area 2 full turns and return to assigned compass heading. Position check made again to base camp and relay information concerning coloration of the ice and snow below. 0910 hours. Both magnetic and gyro compasses beginning to gyrate and wobble. We are unable to hold our heading by instrumentation. Take bearing with the sun compass, yet all seems well. The controls are seemingly slow to respond and have sluggish quality, but there is no indication of icing. 0915 hours. In the distance is what appears to be mountains. 0949 hours. 29 minutes elapsed flight time from the first sighting of the mountains. It is no illusion. There are mountains, and consisting of a small range that I've never seen before. 0955 hours. Altitude changed to 2950 feet, encountering strong turbulence again. We are crossing over a small mountain range and still proceeding northward as best as can be ascertained. Beyond the mountain range is what appears to be a valley with a small river or stream running through the center portion. There should be no green valley below. Something is definitely wrong and abnormal here. We should be over ice and snow. To the port side are great forests growing on mountain slopes. Our navigation instruments are still spinning. 10:05. I alter altitude to 1400 feet and execute a sharp left turn to better examine the valley below. It is green, with either moss or type of tight-knit grass. The light here seems different. I cannot see the sun anymore. We make another left turn and we spot what seems to be large animal of some kind below. It appears to be an elephant. No, it looks more like a mammoth. This is incredible, yet there it is. Decrease altitude to 1,000 feet and take binoculars to better examine the animal. It is confirmed. It is definitely a mammoth-like animal. Report this to base camp. 10:30 hours. Encountering more rolling green hills now. The external temperature indicator reads 74 degrees Fahrenheit. Continuing on our heading now. Navigation instruments seem normal now. I am puzzled over the actions. Attempt to contact base camp. Radio is not functioning. 11:30 hours. Countryside below is more level and normal, if I may use that word. Ahead we spot what seems to be a city. This is impossible. Aircraft seems light and oddly buoyant. The controls refuse to respond. My God. Off our port and starboard wings are a strange type of aircraft. They are closing rapidly alongside. They are disc-shaped and have a radiant quality to them. They are close enough now to see the markings on them. It is a type of swastika. This is fantastic. Where are we? What is happening? I tug at the controls again. They will not respond. We are caught in invisible vice grip of some type. A radio crackles and voice comes through in English for what it perhaps is a slight Nordic or Germanic accent. The message is, "Welcome, Admiral, to our domain. We shall land you in exactly 7 minutes. Relax, Admiral. You're in good hands. I note the engines of our plane have stopped running. The aircraft is under some strange control and is now turning itself. The controls are useless." 11:40 hours. Another radio message received. We begin the landing process now, and in moments the plane shudders slightly and begins to descend, as though caught in some great unseen elevator. The downward motion is negligible, and we touch down with only a slight jolt. 11:45 hours. I'm making a hasty last entry in the flight log. Several men are approaching on foot toward our aircraft. They are tall with blonde hair. In the distance is a large, shimmering city, pulsating with rainbow hues of color. I do not know what is going to happen now, but I see no signs of weapons, and those approaching. I hear now a voice ordering me by name to open the cargo door. I comply. End log. From this point on, I write all the following events here for memory. It defies the imagination, and would seem all but madness if it had not happened. The radio man and I are taken from the aircraft, and we are received in a most cordial manner. We then boarded on small platform-like conveyance with no wheels. It moves us towards the glowing of the city with great swiftness. As we approach, the city seems to be made of crystal material. Soon we arrive at a large building that is a type I have never seen before. It appears to be right out of the design board of Frank Lloyd Wright, or perhaps more correctly, out of a Buck Rogers setting. We are given some type of warm beverage which tasted like nothing I've ever savored before. It is delicious. After about 10 minutes, 2 of our wondrous appearing hosts come to our quarters and announce that I am to accompany them. I have no choice but to comply. I leave my radio man behind, and we walk a short distance and enter what seems to be an elevator. We descend downward for some moments. The machine stops, and the door lifts silently upward. We proceed down a long hallway that is lit by rose-colored light and seems to be emanating from the walls themselves. One of the beings motions to us to stop before a great door. Over the door is an inscription that I cannot read. The great door slides noiselessly open, and I am beckoned to enter. One of my hosts speaks. "Have no fear, Admiral. You are to have an audience with the Master." "I bid you welcome to our domain, Admiral." I see a man with delicate features and with the etching of years upon his face. He is seated at a long table. He motions me to sit down in one of the chairs. After I am seated, he places his fingertips together and smiles. He speaks softly again and conveys the following. "We have let you enter here because you are of noble character and well known on the surface world, Admiral." "Surface world?" I half gasp under my breath. "Yes," the Master replies with a smile. "You are in domain of the Ariani, the inner world of the earth. We shall not long delay your mission, and you will be safely escorted back to the surface and for a distance beyond. But now, Admiral, I shall tell you why you have been summoned here. Our interest rightly begins just after your race exploded the first atomic bombs over Hiroshima and Nagasaki, Japan. It was at that alarming time we sent our flying machines, the Flugelrods, to your surface world to investigate what your race had done. That is, of course, past history now, my dear Admiral, but I must continue on. You see, we have never interfered before in your race's wars and barbarity, but now we must, for you have learned to tamper with a certain power that is not for man, namely, that of atomic energy. Our emissaries have already delivered messages to the powers of your world, and yet they do not heed. Now you have been chosen to be witness here that our world does exist. You see, our culture and science is many thousands of years beyond your race, Admiral." I interrupted. "But what does this have to do with me, sir?" The Master's eyes seemed to penetrate deeply into my mind, and after studying me for a few moments, he replied, "Your race has now reached the point of no return, for there are those among you who would destroy your very world rather than relinquish the power as they know it." I nodded, and the Master continued, "In 1945 and afterward, we tried to contact your race, but our efforts were met with hostility. Our Flugelrods were fired upon. Yes, even pursued with malice and animosity by your fighter planes. So now, I say to you, my son, there is a great storm gathering in your world, a black fury that will not spend itself for many years. There will be no answers in your armies. There will be no safety in your science. It may rage on until every flower of your culture is trampled and all human things are leveled in vast chaos. Your recent war was only a prelude to what yet to come for your race. We here see it more clearly with each hour. Do you say I am mistaken?" Then he gestured with a lovely, slender hand, a motion of peace, and our meeting was truly ended. Quickly, we walked back through the great door of the Master's chamber and once again entered into the elevator. The door slid silently downward, and we were once going upward. One of my hosts spoke again. "We must now make haste, Admiral, as the Master desires to delay you no longer on your scheduled timetable, and you must return with this message to your race." I said nothing. All of this was almost beyond belief, and once again my thoughts were interrupted as we stopped. I entered the room and was again with my radio man. He had an anxious expression on his face. As I approached, I said, "It's all right, Howie. It's all right." The two beings motioned us toward the awaiting conveyance. We boarded and soon arrived back at the aircraft. The engines were idling and we were boarded immediately. The whole atmosphere seemed charged now with a certain air of urgency. After the cargo door was closed, the aircraft was immediately lifted by the unseen force until we reached an altitude of 2,700 feet. Two of the aircraft were alongside for some distance, guiding us on our return. I must state here, the airspeed indicator registered no reading, yet we were moving along at a very rapid rate. 2:15 hours, a radio message comes through. "We are leaving you now, Admiral. Your controls are free." We watched for a moment as the flugel rods disappeared into the pale blue sky. The aircraft suddenly felt as though caught in a sharp downdraft for a moment. We quickly recovered her control. We did not speak for some time. Each man has his thoughts. Entry and flight log continues. 2:20 hours. We are again over a vast area of ice and snow and approximately 20 minutes from base camp. We radio them. They respond. We report all conditions normal. Normal. Base camp expresses relief at our re-established contact. We land smoothly at base camp. I have a mission. End log entries. March 11th, 1947. I have just attended a staff meeting at the Pentagon. I've stated fully my discovery and the message from the Master. All is duly recorded. The President has been advised. I am now detained for several hours. 6 hours, 39 minutes to be exact. I'm interviewed intently by top security forces and a medical team. It was an ordeal. I'm placed under strict control via the national security provisions to this United States of America. I am ordered to remain silent regard to all that I have learned on the behalf of humanity. Incredible. I am reminded that I am a military man and must obey orders. December 30th, 1956. These last few years elapsed since 1947 have not been kind. I now make my final entry in this singular diary. In closing, I must state that I have faithfully kept this matter secret as directed all these years. It has been completely against my values of moral right. Now I seem to sense the long night coming on, and the secret will not die with me. But as all truth shall, it will triumph, and so it shall. This can be the only hope for mankind. I have seen the truth, and it has quickened my spirit and has set me free. I've done my duty towards the monstrous military-industrial complex. Now the long night begins to approach, but there shall be no end. Just as the long night of the Arctic ends, the brilliant sunshine of truth shall come again, and those who are of darkness shall fall in the light. For I have seen the land beyond the pole, that center of the great unknown. Admiral Richard Byrd, United States Navy, December 1956.
All right. Yeah, this is not where we push the laws of physics. Hello. Thank you all for sticking around and watching that. What do you think? Let me know. If you're watching the replay of this, let me know in the comments below. If you're watching live, got a couple of minutes here, let me know. And going to try to bring up U.S. Veterans Chat, if he's still in the room. Again, just getting a page up and running here on YouTube. Page for veterans, by veterans, about veterans. And a really great idea. I don't know if there are any others like that. So if he's not still in here, we will talk to him as the page goes along. Again, it's just getting started. So what we just saw, that was, again, someone reading the final excerpt from Admiral Byrd's diary, supposedly. His son found the diary. Is it legit? If it is, wow. But again, I played it just to give you things to think about. All right, I'm not telling you to believe that. It is all but unbelievable, honestly, that there is some drop off that Admiral Byrd supposedly flew into in the Antarctic region and took him to an inner world. And again, the timing, again, in all the things I showed you building up to it, I wanted you to know exactly what the time frame was. And you know, it was 46 and 47, 1946 and 1947, right after World War II, right after we had, United States had bombed Nagasaki and Hiroshima. And he was told to be quiet about it, not to mention it, what he had seen, according to the diary. Again, the son found the diary. The son, it was a struggle for the son to get anyone to publish the diary because it is so far-fetched from what is known, but at the same time, there are a lot of things that are far-fetched from what is now known. And in case you just joined us, thank you for checking in here. You'll need to go back to the start because there's a bunch of things in here, including what's going on with the water. What is going on with the water? Suddenly the Mississippi River is in a drought situation, and we didn't know that was a possibility up until like a couple of days ago. Really? We're going to investigate that, and I need some researchers. I need some investigators that want to dig into this. Maybe it's nothing. Maybe it is the bottled water companies, Coca-Cola, Nestle. I think we will probably find out they're two of the bigger bottled water companies. What's happening to the water? Is it all the all the rivers that run into the Mississippi? Are they going low too? Again, these are things to think about, but this is something that we need to dig into. I don't care if you're a Republican. I don't care if you're a Democrat. I don't care what you're, if you're an investigative person and you're curious about what's happening to the water, send me an email because we're going to start looking into it. And again, I didn't show that what we just showed from the Admiral Byrd diary. Who knows if that's fiction? Who knows if that is fact? Who knows if that is partial fact and partial, some kind of delusion? Just played it because I found it incredibly interesting and odd that the timing of it, 46 and 47, and the Nazis had just been defeated, but yet he saw something similar, if not a swastika, and it just, I don't know. But what another reason I wanted to play that is because things like that get twisted and turned and become, you know, flat Earth and all different kinds of things. And we just always, I think, as human beings, need to remember, as advanced as we might think we are, we might just be all doofuses. You know, just something to think about. We might not know really much of anything. Have you heard about Lake Erie and the windmills? No, I haven't, Freedom Ninja. Drop me an email. Nobody's going to swoop in and save us from ourselves. Max Flower, that's 100% true. I'm interested in testing bodies, Dean Wall says. Okay. You can be a smart doofus. I hope we all are. I hope I am too. As much as possible, anyway, She-Hawk. Okay. Yeah, I don't, you know, I think it's great that this is the place to be, but I don't want it to be the place to be simply because people are going to be fighting. I want it to be the place to be because people can exchange ideas. Let Lori Arnold call in and provide her theories about why Ashley Babbitt isn't dead. No, we don't have. I've been on too long as it is right now. But U.S. Veterans Chat is still here. Okay. All right. Here in the last couple of minutes, let me. Okay. And. Hop up here for a few seconds. U.S. Veterans Chat. And we'll talk about what you're, okay, Patricia. We'll talk about what you're getting started here. BTM Sparky. Ant gets to talk tomorrow when I interview. I didn't, I was actually, while the Admiral Byrd thing was on, I knocked over my cat's water bowl before the thing started. So that Byrd diary doesn't even rise to the level of plausible conspiracy theory. It's fantasy. It sure seems like it. Yeah, but I just I don't know. It just, when the one astronaut started talking about things he'd seen in space, you know, and it was kind of covered up. When it's somebody of such credibility as Admiral Byrd, you know, you have to either go, he saw something that nobody was supposed to ever see, and it was only because they let him see it, and it's another dimension, something like that, and that he was allowed back to tell the world, quit dropping atomic bombs. Maybe that happened because we haven't dropped any more atomic bombs, and hopefully we never do. You know, so maybe it was Admiral Byrd went through some portal to another dimension or something. I don't know. It's just that chances are, you know, people like that generally don't fabricate. So you have to go to, okay, it was fabricated, and or part of it was, part of the diary's true, and there have been things added for sensationalism. I don't know why his son would do that, because it kind of besmirches his dad's name, unless it were true. So I don't, again, that's why I played it, because there were a lot of things that got me thinking, and I thought I'll share it, and hopefully get some others thinking too. All right, we are coming up on an hour. We're past an hour and 15 minutes. Hello, Fred. Hello, Tupelo. Hello, Lolo's Lounge. Spork Whisperer. Taurus Rising. Seagull. Hello, hello, hello. And let's get U.S. Veterans Chat up here. How are you, man?
Hey, Duvas, how you doing? Hopefully you're feeling better.
Thank you very much. I am. In honesty, I'm ready to, I've put out some energy here, and I'm wearing down a little bit. I don't know. I've had something for a few days, and just really got to me yesterday.
Stay away from the sushi.
I'm not a big sushi dude, so that's not it. Okay, hold on a second. Okay, I'm sorry, I was reading the chat. So, tell us about U.S. Veterans Chat.
Okay, what it is a chat room designed by veterans, built for veterans, ran by veterans, for veterans to have an area that they can come to and talk with other veterans on how to transition from military life to civilian life, and any other problem that they may run into in the civilian world that other veterans have already gone through, that can help them transition through it without a lot of stress.
Okay. And is it gonna be like is it like a 24-hour helpline kind of thing, that it's gonna be up and running constantly? Is that the goal, or?
Right now, the goal is 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday,
Okay.
at 6 p.m. Central Mountain Standard Time. That way, it's not too late for people on the East Coast, and not too early for people on the West Coast.
Okay. So 6 p.m. Central.
Yes.
Okay. And that's Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays.
Yes.
Okay. And it's open to all veterans.
All veterans and folks who support veterans.
Okay. That was my next question. Is it off limits to non-veterans?
No. But it will be off limits to people coming in trying to cause drama and BS, because we're dealing with veterans who suffer from PTSD, traumatic brain injury, and everything else. They don't need the drama. They don't need the BS.
Right. Right.
So those people will be automatically banned. No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
And I think that's great. I'm one of the first subscribers to, so I'm like a charter member of it. And I'm not a vet, and but I do want to help promote the site.
And I got to answer Hell's question, because he said, how does a Navy guy understand a Marine or Army or Air Force? Oh, let's see. I was in Air Force ROTC. The Marine Corps is part of the United States Navy. Their paychecks are Department of Naval Affairs. So that's easy. And I know a lot of Army veterans that are friends of mine.
And I'm, Hellraiser, of course, was
Well, Hellraiser's a veteran.
Yeah, I know. He was, I was getting ready to say he was poking you,
Yeah, I know. And veterans do that with each other.
And that's what I was about to say. And that's why this channel is going to be important, because veterans know how to deal with other veterans. And he brings up a great point. A Marine will have similar experience as another Marine, and it might be easier for a Marine to talk to another Marine. And you're going to find all different branches of service at your chat.
Well, even Marines were stationed with sailors. sailors were stationed Marines, sailors were stationed with the Army. The only one that the Marine Corps, the Army, and the Navy weren't stationed with was the Air Force. But the other three have worked together hand in hand, side by side, for years.
Decades.
That's
Yeah.
Lori's opinion, and I have nothing to do with that.
Do what?
Oh, doctor asked about a statement Lori made, and I said that's Lori's opinion, and I have nothing to do with it.
Okay.
But like I said,
I'm
it's
still kind of lost.
It's about veterans. It
Okay.
has nothing to do with TPC. It has nothing to do with 1776.
Okay.
This is strictly for veterans.
Yeah.
Nothing
and-
else.
Okay. Awesome. And Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
6 p.m. Central
6
Time.
p.m. Central Time.
Yes.
Okay. All right, man. Well, we will have you back on and keep
It is
reminding
not a
people.
Flynn op.
It's what?
Lolo's Lounge is saying it's a Flynn op, and it is not a Flynn op.
A Flynn up. Oh, Michael Flynn.
Yeah.
Okay. All
Code
right.
of Vets is just what it says. Code of Vets. Veterans have codes. Just like we did when we were active duty. We had codes.
Well, don't get upset. She just.
I'm not. It's just civilian people don't understand
I know.
military life.
Yeah, and for most civilian people, you don't think about veterans except for Veterans Day, or
If something happens.
or if something happens, right?
Because up until 9/11, veterans were pretty much shit on until 9/11.
Okay. All right.
And then everybody jumped on the bandwagon for veterans.
Okay, somebody said Code of Vets is affiliated with Michael Flynn.
No, it's not.
Okay. All right. Okay, man. Well, thank you for hopping on here, and we'll have you back on again as the channel grows, and we'll keep promoting it. All right.
Thank you for letting me on here to put it out there, because I think it's something veterans need.
I agree wholeheartedly. All right, man. We'll see you. We'll see you soon.
You take care, Doofus.
All right. All right. Thank you. That was U.S. Veterans Chat. Relatively new channel just popping up here on YouTube for veterans, by veterans, about veterans, and 6 p.m. Central Time. That would be 7 p.m. Eastern. That would be 5 Mountain and 4 Pacific. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So let me go back over to the chat here real quick. Okay. All right. This says, thank you, Jeff. Love a Marine. Love my Marine. Okay. Lolo says, oh my God. In recent years, hold on just a second. In recent years, didn't officials secretly visit, hold on, let me, secretly visit Antarctica to view something under the ice not previously visible? I do remember something about that, yes. I do remember something about that. Jeff is everywhere at times. We still are, Jeff. Thanks, Jeff. Max Smith, this is Jeff's own project that he holds as very important to him and those who served our country. Yeah, it's Jeff's thing. There are plenty of other channels for veterans on YouTube not run by Jeff Ellis. Okay. Go Navy. Actually, I had my brother-in-law, the brother-in-law married to my older sister was a commander in the Navy. So yeah, it was pretty much all Navy all the time. And then with him, then my middle sister was married to Marine who ended up getting stationed in Okinawa. And my youngest sister was married to someone in the Army that ended up on the demilitarized zone in South Korea. So, and my dad was Army Air Corps in World War II, and my brother was U.S. Army. So, I can't really say go Navy or go Army or go anybody. And my oldest daughter was United States Air Force. So, covering all the bases. Okay. Who will Doofus give a platform to next? Well, I can tell you what. I can tell you what. It sure won't be you. Bye. No, it won't be banded either. Thank you for asking, though. Yes, we are going to have BTM Sparky and Summer Dickerson on. Hey, Patricia, nothing wrong with that. Thank you for your service. All right. We're coming up on an hour and a half, so I am going to okay. Thanks to all the vets in here. Yes, Siegel. Absolutely. Thanks to all the vets in here. And thanks to all the vets everywhere. Whether you're, watching this on the replay or you're watching it and not involved in the chat, or you're a vet in the chat, or you're the spouse of a vet. They, again, I've seen what spouses of veterans go through. So thank you to all of you that have served, because if you're a spouse of someone, then you're serving too. If you're a kid of someone, you're serving too. Anyway, thank you all. Thank you all for being here. And tomorrow night, again, we're going to be on at midnight tomorrow night. And we're going to have it's going to be a little bit lighter than tonight, and possibly what comes after tomorrow night. Tomorrow night we're going to do comedy. I'm going to take a look back at, and if you have a suggestion, the funniest thing was, put it in the comments below. Not in the live chat comments, but in the comments below. And, you may see it as one of the funniest things. We're going to do that just because it's time to have no hate, no stress, no he said, she said. Let's just all get some popcorn and look back at some funny stuff. That's what we're going to do tomorrow night. Thank you, Joy. Thank you, Joy. Thank you for being here. And Joy, I was supposed to do an interview back when BTM was a thing, and Joy was going to do the interview, and we didn't get to do it. And I've always felt bad about that. So Joy, if you ever want to come on here, because I know how prepared you were for all that, if you ever want to come on here, I'll let you conduct the interview on here, and you can interview me on my own platform. I won't do it for anybody else, but Joy, I still have my questions. All right. You're welcome, Tanya. Thank you for being here. Sherry Beeman, thank you. U.S. Veterans Chat, BTM Sparky, Max Flower. Okay, Joy. Send me a message in Discord. I don't go into Discord rooms anymore just because of everything that's going on around all this stuff, but I do still get Discord messages. And it's not I'm against anything or for anything. I'm trying to stay in the middle of everything. And if I'm involved too much behind the scenes, then it's tough to do. Anyway, Taurus Rising, thanks Doofus, Vets, and all those who actually could act their ages. Looking forward to BTM Sparky tomorrow. Yeah, by the way, yeah, by all means, do not wait on Sparky and Summer to come on here at the same time. Go to Sparky's channel, go to Summer's channel. I know Summer's got some IRL stuff going on, so I don't know how much she's actually broadcasting, but reach out to them. You don't have to do it publicly. If something's weighing on you, reach out to them. If something's weighing on you, reach out to me. You don't have to do it publicly. But too many people won't let go of the rope. Okay? I want you to think about something. Church bells. We've all heard church bells. Somebody's in there pulling on the rope and the church bells going ring, ring, ring. Sunday morning, calling everybody in the community to church. And as long as they keep pulling on that rope, those bells are going to keep on ringing. Well, if we have a problem, an emotional problem, if we have a mental problem, if we have a problem with society, if we have a problem with an individual, as long as we hold on to that problem, the bells are going to keep ringing. As long as we hold on to whatever's bothering us, whatever's weighing us down, whatever's stopping us, whatever's keeping us from advancing, as long as we hold on to those things, it's just like we keep ringing that church bell. And sometimes you need somebody to talk to let those things go. And that's what Sparky's trying to do. BTM Sparky's trying to do. That's what Summer Dickerson has been doing for a long time. I spend a lot of my time doing that as well with people. And there are a lot of places and a lot of people you can talk to if you get in that situation and you feel like you need to. But sometimes somebody just saying, hey, let go of the rope is enough. Sometimes just hearing that, you know what, you're right. I don't have to carry this shit around. I don't. I can put it down. I can forget about it. I can go on because it really doesn't mean anything. I'm the one that keeps pulling the rope. Let go of the rope. I love y'all. Thanks for being here. Be back tomorrow night at midnight with some comedy stuff. Sincerely, I do love y'all. And I do appreciate greatly you being here. And those of you that act like adults in the chats, good on ye. And those that don't, come on. I know you're better than that. And I don't come and disrespect you or your chats or your sites or anything. So show me the same courtesy from now on, please. Those that aren't banned. I love y'all. It's a dark world. Try to be a light. See you tomorrow night at midnight. Peace.